Ted Williams talk about a fine brain, the former D.C. homicide detective, defense attorney, Fox News contributor. Ted, this is a very big campus and area. 20,000 undergraduate students, 12,000 graduate students, a couple of thousand more who service the facility and beyond. So it's a large area, a concentrated area, and the shooter targeted presumably a specific area. It's either chemistry building, lab center, what have you. I know I'm not throwing much at you to go on, Ted, but what do you make of it?
Well, Neil, what I glean initially is that possibly the person that they have in custody has some association with that lab. Like I said, there's information out there that has not been confirmed, so I'm not going to report on it. But it is alleged that the person may very well be a PhD program or student there. What I find very troubling and what I'm upset as I'm before this camera is that we don't know more at this stage. It seems as though that they're somewhat calm there on the scene. And you would think that with it being just the initial days of school there at the UNC, that the law enforcement officials in that community would immediately rush to the cameras, or if they've got somebody in custody, to let family, relatives, and friends know that their loved ones are safe. As of now, what is also confusing is we know allegedly that shots were fired or shot was fired. But guess what? We don't know anymore. We don't know if there are casualties. We don't know if someone was killed. We don't know anything.
No, you're right. And by the way, we are learning as you were finishing up there that the UNC police, University of North Carolina police, have tweeted out an all clear with a reminder you can resume normal activities. Obviously, that would surmise that the shooter is in custody and that the problem is over. But you're the expert. I'm not. What do you think?
But you're absolutely right. Neil, over the weekend here, we had 7 people shot in Boston. In Jacksonville, Florida, we had this racial incident where 3 people died. All over the country right now, nerves are very fragile. When these things take place, these shootings, we are very reactive to it. As you can see, on that campus at UNC, there were a heavy dose of law enforcement officers there immediately. Now that they've said that it's all clear, I am hoping that they will rush to the cameras and let the people in this country, the students out there at that university, their relatives and friends and everyone associated with them, know what took place. I find that to be very, very troubling that we're still speculating for the most part about whether someone was injured, whether someone was killed. We don't know what happened. We don't need to know everything, but we need to know something about what took place there.
Well, to your point, we don't know any of that, and we're waiting to find out. We also have gotten disputed reports, much to your concern, Ted, of whether shots were fired at all. Again, some of these are old buildings, brick and the rest of it. It might have been difficult to hear, if you could hear anything, sort of being inside the building where this presumably all started. I do know in the case of the shooter that they quickly released his picture, the one you're seeing on the bottom right of your screen. A name has been shared on some of these social media sites. We don't feel comfortable sharing it ourselves for the time being, so we're not. What scant information we have on him, Ted, is that he's a graduate student. We don't know a graduate student of what field of study, and if he was in this building, it could have had something to do with chemistry. We just don't know. But can you explain the procedure? Once police release a picture, they quickly get through helps of friends and acquaintances or those who know this guy. They get his name, they start scouring his social media, then what?
Well, they start scouring social media, as you said, and they also, at some stage or another, if they believe the person is no longer on campus, they also will put an all-points bulletin out. They will also try to engage the public or by giving out information about the person. Let's say if he was in an automobile, they will give that information out with the license plates if they know it, or as much information as they can to engage the public in assisting them. But in scrubbing the media site and trying to locate people who know that person and trying to find out where, if the person is no longer on campus, they may very well have headed. That's what law enforcement officers would be doing, doing all sorts of tracing here. But again, the sad part about it is we are left to speculate because we don't know if somebody was injured. We don't know if somebody was killed. And this situation appears to have been over, let's say about at least 30 to 40 minutes ago. So you've got to wonder why in the hell haven't the officials there to calm the nerves of the community gotten before the cameras to tell us what the hell happened there at the University of North Carolina this afternoon?
Well, we do know they're going to go before the cameras at 5 p.m. Eastern time, about 40 minutes from now, to your point, Ted. There are a lot of questions here, not only, his confirmed name, why he did this, or why all of this went down the way it did, even to the point of whether he left, devices or anything like that behind. That does not appear the case, or I guess they wouldn't have given the all clear. And if they suspected any accomplices, they wouldn't have given the all clear. Your thoughts?
You're accurate, my friend. If they felt that the students were still in danger on that campus, or that there were accomplices, or that he had left devices that could have harmed those students on that campus, they clearly would not have given the all clear. Law enforcement officers clearly know a great deal more than we are able to report here. But I am encouraged by what you've represented, that in the 5 o'clock area, right around that time, they are going to have a presser where they're going to be able to kind of give us some information as to what took place on that campus this afternoon that led to the heavy presence of police officers all over the place.
Yeah, there were a lot of them. Ted Williams, thank you very much.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.